Hey guys, welcome back for another week of What's for Dinner. So this week's video is going to be a little shorter than usual, and that is because my husband and I were on our anniversary trip, so I did not cook as many meals as I normally do. But I did have 3 things that I cooked before we left, so I wanted to go ahead and share that with you for this week's What's for Dinner. So for the first night, I originally was going to make pork tenderloin, but what I reached in and grabbed out of my deep freeze was actually beef tenderloin. I didn't even know I had that. I thought it was a pork tenderloin. I've never tried beef tenderloin before until I made this, and let me tell you, I will be buying more. It was fantastic. I did decide, because it was beef tenderloin, I was just going to serve it with baked potatoes on the side. So I just washed up a couple of russet potatoes, poked some holes in them with a fork. I rubbed some olive oil and some salt on the outside, and then I put them in my air fryer. I did them at, I think it was at like 300 or 400 degrees. I cannot remember, but I did them for about 25 minutes, and then I went ahead and flipped them over and did them for another 25, and they were absolutely perfect. Now, here is that beef tenderloin I was talking about. It is wrapped in bacon, and it has what they just said was steakhouse seasoning on it. It was perfect. It really just was. So I am putting it on a wire rack just because I don't want it sitting in like a puddle of grease or anything because there's bacon on the outside. I'm hoping to get a little texture to it. I did go ahead and insert my thermometer in it, and I set it to 160 because it was recommended that I cook this to 165. Which, if I cook it to 160 and leave it on the counter for about 10 or 15 minutes, it will cook itself to 165. And that is exactly what I did. So while that was resting, I did go ahead and pull my baked potato out. I just like to kind of put a little cut in the top of the potato, just press the sides to pop it open. And then for my particular potato, I put in some butter, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and a little bit of sour cream. I didn't need salt or pepper because there was already so much salt on the outside. And I just kind of fluff it up, mash it around a little bit, mix it together, and it was perfect. And I served it with a couple of pieces of that beef tenderloin, and it was so, so good. I will definitely be making this meal again. Okay, on to meal number 2. So this was one that I kind of just invented. I guess it's like a play on a Hot Pocket. That's what I would describe it as. So I'm going to call this a cheeseburger bun. Basically, what I'm going to do is just pop a cheeseburger filling inside of some pizza dough and kind of wrap it up into a bun and bake it. So I'm going to start by melting a little bit of butter in this pan, and I'm going to saute some onions, and I'm going to do that for like 15 or 20 minutes. I want to really soften them, get just a little bit of browning on them so that they caramelize a little bit, and they are super delicious that way. I also did add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. And at the end, I'm going to add some bacon bits. I have the, what is it, the refrigerated bacon, the real bacon pieces. I get them at Sam's Club. So I did just make sure that there was still a little bit of butter in the bottom of the pan, and of course the juice from the onions. And I let the bacon cook for just a little while because it helps to kind of reconstitute it, and it is perfect that way. So as you can see, I am just using refrigerated pizza dough. I divided it up into 8 pieces, and I flattened it with my hands. Now, on the first couple, I did put the bacon onion mixture on the bottom, which after a few, I decided it was probably not the best way to do this because that's the thinnest part of the dough, and the bacon is a little bit pokey. So it did kind of tear the dough a little bit. After the first couple, I did start putting the patty in first and then topping it with the bacon onion mixture, and that worked out a whole lot better. And as you can see, there are no cheese on these. If you've watched my channel, you know that my oldest son, Xander, does not like cheese. So I did not put any cheese on the ones that I thought he would be eating. And then for the rest of us, I put cheese on the bottom, followed by the little frozen slider patty, which I did heat up in the microwave. They are not completely thawed, but they're mostly thawed. And then I topped it with the bacon onion mixture. And I popped these in the oven and I cooked them just according to the directions on the package for the pizza dough. It didn't take very long. I want to say it was like 15 minutes. So it really was a pretty quick meal. And I mean, as much as it looks like I'm having to do stuff, it was actually really simple to throw together. I mean, once you get the onions in the pan, they do their own thing. You don't have to mess with them. So it didn't require a lot for me. It was a great meal on a night where I was actually pretty busy. We were getting ready to leave, so I had been packing and doing laundry and all of that stuff. So this was the perfect meal to kind of just throw together and enjoy while I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff. I did decide that since these are kind of like burgers, I wanted to serve tater tots on the side because I did have about half a bag in my freezer. And I paired that with what I just call our ketchup dipping sauce, but it's ketchup and horseradish mixed together. It's kind of tastes like that Arby's sauce a little bit, but it just kind of gives a little extra zing to your ketchup if you get bored with just plain ketchup. But that is what we had for dinner on this particular night, and I'm going to tell you I will make this again. Actually, I'd like to experiment with some other fillings too. As good as this was, it does remind me how much I used to make things like this and put different fillings in, and I would like to go back to doing that again. So you may see some similar things that are just a little bit different coming up on the channel. I'm not sure. I've got to decide what I think would be perfect inside of these buns. But anyway, like I said, give this one a try. It was so tasty and delicious. Definitely something that we will be making again in the very near future. And now on to the final meal of this video. I am just going to make some spaghetti. Now, all that said, I will make my sauce from scratch tonight. I decided I wanted to just kind of have it just a little different, not the regular jar stuff. So I'm going to start off by cooking some ground beef. I've only got a pound in there, but I'm just going to kind of break it up with my little meat masher there and let it do its thing. So once the meat gets completely cooked through, I will go ahead and toss in 1 whole onion that I diced up. And then at some point after that is where I realized that I thought I was recording, but I was not. So to this, I also added salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, and some garlic. Really, if you're making this at home, put in as much or as little as you like. I go pretty light on the Italian seasoning just because I feel like the basil and oregano in there can get really overwhelming. But I know some people like a whole lot more in their dish, and that is fine. I did go heavy on the garlic. I want to say I put in what would probably be the equivalent of like 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. So yeah, I mean, I put a lot in there. And like I said, it was 1 whole onion that I diced up and added as well. And then I did go ahead and take 1 28-ounce can of San Marzano tomatoes. I got the whole tomatoes, and I'm just going to crush them with my little meat masher there because I like a lot of texture to my sauce. However, if you like yours a lot smoother, you might want to consider running them through a food processor or something like that to get them super smooth. And the only other thing I added was 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, and I just let this simmer on the stove for like 30 minutes while the pasta was cooking and doing its thing. And it was so good. All the flavors had come together. It tasted wonderful. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention. I did add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Anytime you're using canned tomatoes, you want to kind of offset that acidity with a little bit of sugar. I find 1 teaspoon is plenty, and that is what I added in here. And I just served this with some garlic knots on the side because they are delicious, and we had an awesome dinner. So guys, those are the meals for this week. Like I said, it was shorter than usual, but I will be showing the food that we ate while we were in Fredericksburg in a vlog that will be coming up on my channel very soon. If you don't know, Fredericksburg is a little German town in Texas, so of course we ate a lot of German food. It was so good though. But anyway, keep an eye out for that video. It should be up here in the next couple of days. If you like this kind of stuff, you're into cooking and, you know, kind of homemaking life, grocery hauls, being a mom, that sort of thing, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can keep up with all of the content that I put out regularly on this channel. And that's going to be it for today, guys. I will see you soon with another video. Bye.